Hello, students. Let's go over the Chapter 12 vocabulary. I like this particular app that I'm using because it lets me write things out ahead of time and then narrate over them to kind of save us some time. So here we go. Rencontre, je rencontre. To meet, I meet. Dire, je dis. To say. Uh-oh, I say, not see, Mrs. Aguilar. Retourner, je retourne. To return, I return. Un musée, a museum. A restaurant, un restaurant, a restaurant. Ensuite, then or next. Finalement, finally. Seulement, only. Jamais, never. Après, after. Incroyable, unbelievable. Chouette, awesome. Laisse tomber, forget it. Laisse tomber. Bon. Let's look at our chart. Don't you love my mix of typing and my own handwriting? It's great. Let's look at this chart of the passé composé with être. And they've used retourner in this chapter to illustrate how to use the passé composé with être and the verb retourner. Je suis retourné. Tu es retourné. Il est retourné. Elle est retournée. Nous sommes retournés. Vous êtes retournés. Ils sont retournés. Elles sont retournées. I want you to pay attention to something while you're looking at this chart. We haven't gone over this grammar concept yet, but we will in this lesson. I want you to look at the endings of retourner. Now, when we used avoir and conjugated the passé composé, it always just used that past participle, and it was always the same, but I see accent, E. There's an extra E right here. Retourner. Nous sommes retournés. I see an S this time in addition to our past participle. Vous êtes retournés. I see an S. Ils sont retournés. Elles sont retournées. I see an E and an S avec elles sont retournées. Pay attention to that, okay? Here are the verbs that take être in the passé composé. They're, as he mentions in the book, they're movement verbs. Aller, right? Our past participle of aller is aller, to go. Entrer, entrer, to enter. Partir, parti, to leave. Rester, rester, to stay. Retourner, retourner, to return. Tomber, tomber, to fall. Venir, venu, right? That's a weird one. Venu, to come. These use être to make the passé composé instead of avoir. Bon? D'accord. Let's go to the next slide. Let's remember how to conjugate être, because we will need this to make our passé composé of our être verbs. So let's say this together. Je suis, tu es, il est, elle est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont, elles sont. Now, remember how to form a passé composé. We have the conjugated form of avoir or être, depending on the verb that we're making passé composé, right? Most of them take avoir, some of them take être. Plus, we add the past participle. I'm going to call it the PP of the main verb, okay? So, the old way with avoir, we might say, vous avez mangé, right? You ate. The new way, with some verbs, we use être, right? we would say je suis allé. Je suis allé, actually. Je suis allé. I went. Here's the new part. And I tried to make it look so exciting to you, right? So exciting. Past participles with être must agree in number and gender. Okay, that means I'm going to make it more exciting for you. The past participle with être in passé composé must add some things to the end of it to make it agree with the subject in gender and number. Okay, so let's look at our rules. Remember, just like our adjectives. First rule, add an E to the past participle, the PP, when the subject is feminine. Second rule, add an S to the past participle when the subject is plural. And we saw that back on our chart, right? So here's an example. Par exemple, I have a sentence. Elles sont retournées. They returned. Elles sont retournées. Let's look at the subject. The subject, elle, is feminine and it's also plural. Okay? Feminine plural. We have our passé composé sont retournés right here. Let's look at how this is formed. We have our third person plural form of être, conjugated, elles sont. Then we have our past participle of retourner, retourner. But we've added some things, right? We add an E for the feminine subject because our subject is elle. And we add an S after that for the plural subject because our subject is plural as well. The second, now we're going to jump ahead. We have a new verb this chapter, and it is irregular. Of course it is. So, this verb is dire, je dis, to say, I say. Let's conjugate it together. So we have, what do you think might go here? We have kind of a weird irregular pattern, right? But there's kind of a pattern. So we have an S-S-T pattern. Je dis, tu dis, il dit, elle dit. Now, we also have a pattern again, right? Nous dis, we already know nous goes with on, right? Nous disons. I gave you this one because it's just so weird. I don't know what to do. Vous dites. Il, elle. What do you think this is? It's a regular third person plural ending. E-N-T. And we say that dis. Okay, so let's say this together. Je dis, tu dis, il dit, elle dit. Nous disons, vous dites, ils disent, elles disent. You can hear the S here, right? Because it's not at the end of the word. There's an ENT that follows it. We don't hear the ENT, but we hear ils disent, elles disent. That's how we know that it's plural when we're speaking. You just have to memorize vous dites because it's so weird. The past participle of dire is dit, D-I-T, and we use avoir to conjugate it. Bon? Okay, let's keep going. So let's practice forming the passé composé with dire. Alors, I told you we use avoir, right? So we will say, ouh la 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 la. Je, oh, but it's avoir, right? So what is the conjugation of avoir, first person singular? J'ai, ouh la la, dit. We use our past participle. Let me go back. Did I do that right? Yep, it's D-I-T. Dit. Bon. J'ai dit. tu, conjugate avoir, right? And add dit. So what is our conjugation of avoir with tu? Tu as dit. Oh là 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 là. We have il, elle. We conjugate avoir and we add dit. Il, elle, a dit. Plural. Nous what? I almost said it. Nous avons dit. Can't get that I to go. There we go. Vous what? Dit. Conjugate avoir. Vous avez dit. And then we have il, elle, something, dit. What is it? On. So let's say these together. J'ai dit, tu as dit, il a dit, elle a dit, nous avons dit, vous avez dit, ils ont dit, elles ont dit. Très bien. Remember, sometimes in class I'll say, comment dit-on something or another en français? Or comment dit-on something en anglais? That's just the question way of saying, how does one say, right? Dit is to say. How does one say this word en français? So here's our translation. How do you say whatever in French? So now you know where that word dit comes from, right? It's dire, to say. Comment dit-on cat en français? So now let's do one more exercise. Let's conjugate the passé composé using negatives. This is something we don't talk about a whole lot, but we need to. We need to know where to put our ne pas, right? Alors, I did not have the book. I specifically chose a really difficult one. Do you remember to have past participle? Right? Avoir, the past participle, is weird. You might have to look back, right? It's eu. EU. Okay, so subject I. Je. Okay, let's say that I did have the book. I had the book. So how would we say that? We would conjugate, right? Avoir. J'ai, we would use the past participle. Eu. Le livre, the book. But what about did not have? Okay, well I have to put my ne pas somewhere, right? So where am I going to put it? I'm going to put it right here around the conjugated, ooh la la, I still have the eraser. Don't do that, Mrs. Aguilar. Around the conjugated form of avoir. So je n'ai pas eu le livre. Je n'ai pas eu le livre. Bon, let's try one with an être verb. We did not go to school. That's so true right now, right? We are not going to school. Oui, qu'est-ce que c'est? En français. Comment dit-on oui? Nous, right? So let's say we went to school, right? We went to school. Nous, what? How do we conjugate être? Nous sommes, right? Nous sommes. Go is, what's the past participle of go? Aller, aller. Nous sommes allés à l'école. Now, where do we put our ne pas for not? Where do we add that? We add it around, just like with avoir, we add it around the conjugated form of être. Nous ne sommes pas allés. Now, who can tell me what's wrong with this sentence? Because there is something very, very wrong. What did I do wrong? I am forming the passé composé with être. So what do I need to do to my past participle? Lolo, I need to make sure that it agrees in number and gender with my subject. So let's just assume that I'm talking about all of us. And Maddox is a boy, right? In our group of people. So we have one person that is not feminine. So our past participle will have to be masculine. Okay, we're good there. We're masculine. But what about number? There's more than one of us, isn't there? Il y a peut-être 4. There's 4 of us, right? So there's more than one. What do we need to do with our past participle? We need to add the S. Okay, it needs to agree. Nous ne sommes pas allés à l'école. Très bien. Okay, students, that's the end of our lesson for today. But I do have a worksheet I'll be sending out next week. If you're watching this week, how would you know? I don't know. There is a worksheet I'll be sending out that I want you to work on to translate some sentences, to use both avoir and être when they're needed to make the passé composé and to make negatives correctly in the passé composé. Alors, bonne chance, and I'll see you next time.